Welcome back to Photo Finish Garage, guys and gals. Today we're still working on this 2010 Ford F-150. Right now we're doing the a drain and fill. Well, we just got done with the drain and fill on the 6R80 transmission. I had some issues. I think I overfilled the transmission, and when I bought the truck, I think the fluid was so low on the transmission that when I went to go back and put the 7.5 quarts that it takes, it actually exposed other leaks that the truck had. So this truck definitely was leaking from the bulkhead connector for the transmission plug, and we went ahead and replaced that yesterday. Let me find that part number. Anyways, I'll post that down in the chat below. But while I'm back here and I got the truck up, I went ahead and I'm going to do the the transmission output shaft seal. So this is the part number 9L3Z7052. A as in Apple. This part was about 12 bucks at my local dealer here in Texas. So it's not an expensive part. I think the aftermarket brands at O'Reilly's and AutoZone were in the same, $9 to $12 ballpark. So this is just going to be a quick video of the tools that you need for this job. And actually, I'll show you what the leak kind of looks like. Hang on, let me turn this camera around. So if you look right there at that seal, it's a lot of wetness. And if you look at the overall condition of the transmission, it's been leaking for a while. I addressed, the bulkhead connector, which is that electrical connector there. I addressed that yesterday. The transmission pan gasket has been addressed now that the drain and fill has been done. And then now we're gonna get after this output shaft seal. So I didn't see a video on YouTube of anybody doing this repair. I think there's one guy on YouTube just talking about the repairs and how he did it, but not actually showing you. So I am mid-repair, but I can still walk you through it, and that's my goal. So here, all right, so you'll need to take off the drive shaft here from the pinion flange on the differential. You're going to need a 12-point size 12 socket. 12-point size 12 socket. There's 4 bolts right there. You want to mark where the drive shaft lines up on the drive shaft and the flange, so you know where to line that back up. You're going to have 2 bolts here, which is for your carrier bearing right here. 2 bolts, those are size 13. Boom, right here. They go right there just like that. All right. Then when you get up here to the output shaft flange, you're gonna have 4 bolts as well, as you can see right there. And don't forget to mark where your drive shaft came from and was aligned. All right. So you're gonna have 4. That's those same size 12 bolts. So right now, size 12 carrier bearing bolts 13, and then the rear bolts are 12. So this is a special screw here, special nut rather. It is a 12-point nut, and it's also was compressed down on that side and on that side as well. I had to use a series of flathead screwdrivers to try and bend that back out. But what you need to do is get, let me show you here, a size 35 nut. A size 35 socket for that nut. This is a 12-point, okay? You put this on here. You don't need any impact power. You just need, I used my breaker bar over there, and I tried to get some leverage, and again, I just loosen this thing up, spin it around. Let's see, there we go. See if it's off by hand yet. Not yet. So let me put this camera down and I'll go ahead and finish getting that off. One thing, oh, see, it's hitting right there. You can see the edge of it. So it needs to be pulled out some more. Actually, what I noticed too is if you torque some more on it, that part of the nut will actually come off and come out. It'll round out. So you might be asking, well, where the hell do you get a 35 socket, 35 millimeter 12-point socket from? So I found it. So I went to AutoZone, and here's their kit. That's the part number, and this is just a 8-piece axle nut socket set. So AutoZone has a 6-point and a 12-point kit. So go there, you'll get it. This whole thing was $90, about $97, but it is a loaner tool, which means once you're done with it, you take it back up to AutoZone and you get your money back. So it's a free tool. So that is the only way. I could not find it on Amazon fast enough. Amazon had a few, $15 to $20 for one socket. I don't have a use for that size, so I went this route. So check your local AutoZone. All right, so I'm gonna pause the video here, and when I get more progress, I'll come right back in. All right, so we got the nut loose, as we mentioned here. And there's the nut. Now they also say this nut's not reusable, but I'm gonna reuse it. You can do what you like. All right, so this, as you can see, is just gonna pull straight off. And that's it. All right. Now we have access to our leaking seal, which you can see there is leaking. And we're gonna try to use, I don't have a seal puller, but I've pulled out seals before, so it shouldn't be any different. What we need is just to get off in there and pull this thing out. So I'm gonna put the phone down again and start working my flathead in between. Use a hammer and just pry and bend the old seal out without damaging the surface here. And go ahead and clean up this area as well. All right, I'll be right back. So I'm gonna show you my setup. Just have a really long, sturdy flathead sitting in this thing kind of cross-cornered here. And I'm pulling back on the case so I can work out the edge of this seal. There it is. There it is. All right, that's our seal. Came out. Grab our new seal. Be right back. There's the new seal. There's the old seal. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of clean up my area real quick. Whatever that washer is, leave it there. It's not necessary to mess with anything. We might have to lubricate the edge of our seal here. Let's see. Might be lubricated in there. Let's see, rub some of that existing tranny fluid around the seating area there. All right. All right, so I'm gonna put this down and I'm gonna use a hammer because I don't have, there's supposed to be a socket or a seal installation tool rather. That's about the same circumference and it sits there and you can tap it in evenly. So I don't have that, and because this shaft is in the way, I can't lay a 2x4 or anything on there, but I can hold the seal and just kind of work it back in. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'll be right back. Just want to show you the method I'm using to tap this back in. Just got a regular house hammer, using the flat side, gently just tapping it in there. And just go all the way around until the edge of that seal, which I'm not there yet, but until the edge of that seal is actually going to be flush with the housing. As you can see, I'm not there yet. So let me pause it and I'll get right back once I get it flush. All right, so I got it in there nice and flush around the edges. As you can see here, nice and flush, no overlap all the way around. So we'll just come in here. I need to take the truck to a car wash and really power wash under here. So for now, let's use our brake cleaner. Get that all cleaned up. So this was probably one of the easiest seal replacements that I've ever done. I did it on the BMW and kind of was more of a pain than this. That seems pretty good. So then just go back in with your flange here. It's not keyed or anything. I'm gonna clean that up. As you can see, it's been leaking, but it's not keyed. You just slide it back on and make sure you line your drive shaft up. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Give me a second. Let me pause it. Be right back. Now I believe the torque, I read that the torque on this is supposed to be 59 foot-pounds. So we're gonna try our best to get to that. I'll go get my torque wrench. I'll be right back. All right, we got it back on there, nice and snug. Got the ends bent back in, and now we just go to line our drive shaft back up. So I'll try my best to get it up there. It's pretty heavy laying on my back, but I can get it. So I'll come back when I have my marks lined back up and have my bolt started. I wanted to mention as well, while I have this drive shaft, pretty much started and back up, this is also now a good time to go ahead and lubricate this slip joint here. It's a two-piece drive shaft, and if you guys have a clunk, like when you're coming down to brake, sometimes you're gonna feel like something like you've been rear-ended, or you think there's a transmission problem with the transmission or the motor mounts. Although that could very well be a problem, it's most likely this that needs to be lubricated. You can use a white lithium grease like Super Lube, which is a great lithium grease that's pretty cheap. Ford also sells a service kit, of course they do. I just used Super Lube, took this drive shaft apart, marked it, separated this half from this half, and actually just lubricated the inside. So now's a good time to address that if you haven't already. So I need to pull my drive shaft back up here, got all my bolts started, and I'll come back in when it's all done. All right, I got everything started. I'm just gonna be snugging everything back up. Got my carrier bearing started and my differential bolt started. So just want to say thanks for watching Photo Finish Garage. Come back, stay tuned for more.